Hello Gemini, Elsie here to do a monthly reading. This is a reading for the month of August. Thank you so much for clicking here. I do appreciate you. This reading is for Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter signs. I'm going to read for the beginning, the middle, and the end of August of 2026. Let's find out what is coming up for you, my friend, in August. Tell me about Gemini in August. We're going to throw some tarot at it after this as well. We've got the Dragonfly Spirit. Truth transcends illusion. You're about to learn some type of truth. I think it is a truth that you'll be okay with, though. I think it's maybe the answer to a question you've been searching for. We do have this Dragonfly Spirit here, and we have card 22. So I'm going to say it's something that makes you feel solid, something that makes you feel grounded, something that makes you feel stable. And for me, dragonflies are sort of visitors from the other realm. So I feel like you could be getting, you could be seeing dragonflies, butterflies. It feels like you're about to get some sort of a truth or a realization of a truth that transcends some sort of an illusion that you were living in. Possibly you thought something was one way and now you get some clarity about it not being that way. I think it comes to you quickly. It says a time to heal, so I'm going to say this is really lovely. We have repeating numbers, 22, 55. We have time to heal. It does really feel like something here comes to you very quickly. The snakes are very quick, right? Snakes can be quick and silent, and you never know when they're coming. It says here, a time to heal. So I feel like whatever truth is transcending an illusion that you had, it could be anything, friends. It could be about a relationship, about a friendship. It could be something that was going on in your childhood. And all of a sudden, as an adult, some sort of truth transcends some sort of an illusion that you thought something you thought you knew isn't really that way. So it feels like it is a healing thing, I'm going to say, but it does change your mind very quickly in the middle of the month. We're looking at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the month. So in the middle of the month, I feel like that's when this truth shows up. But it does heal something within you. Maybe you thought something in your past or in your childhood or in a past friendship, relationship was something that it actually wasn't. You come to a clarity or a realization of something and it helps you heal in some sort of way. Let's find out what's going on in the end of the month. Oh, I love this lineup. Look, friend, you are seeing multiple numbers. And I don't know if it's just 3 3s, 5 5s. It feels like they're all probably jumbled up. You might be seeing 2, 4, 6-digit numbers, but we've got 2 2, 5 5, and 3 3. I don't know if I've ever had a reading like that before. Freedom is yours. Horses are very intuitive. Horses know your energy before you know the energy you're giving the horse. It feels like you are having an internal awakening or a realization from the inside out. It sets you free. It feels like you believed something about yourself that you no longer see as part of your identity anymore, Gemini. Something here is about to set you free, but I feel like the awakening comes from internal, but it also could be something that begins with a dragonfly or a butterfly. It feels like something that is a very, I think you're finding a creative way to rethink something. It feels like you're changing your mind. We've got watch your words. We've got card number 45, which is a 9. Possibly watch your words could mean that it feels like maybe, you know how you have that game of telephone when you were a kid? It feels like something that was, pardon me, that was said and it came down the line as the game of telephone, right? Somebody added something and passed it along. It could be family history. It could be the history of your childhood or something you thought it was and it wasn't. Maybe you find out somebody you thought was married wasn't. It feels like the watch your words. It feels like somebody. It feels like somebody was playing telephone. That the truth you thought you had was not the truth. It was actually an illusion. And it feels like it was parroted through time. And when we whispered things in each other's ears, sitting in that circle, right? When it came out to the last person, what they thought they heard is what they would say out loud. And then most of us would laugh because it's usually not at all what was said. So I feel like it clears something up for you and brings the end to some sort of illusion. You thought it was one way, and it actually is another. Let's find out what this is all about. That's very Gemini. It's very sort of back and forth, flip-flop kind of energy. We thought it was one way, but it's actually another way. Tell me more about Gemini, please. For the month of August, it feels like something becomes very clear and you're able to change your mind about something. Wow. As we say, change your mind, the King of Swords shows up. Now, in a general reading, this is all three, right? Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, but this is Aquarian energy. The interesting thing is right now we are under an Aquarian full moon. And it's a special moon because it's in the 29th, the anaretic degree, the 29th degree of Aquarius, very, very close to Pisces energy. It feels like an intuitive realization. Yep, it sure does. And I feel like this is something you were not willing to change your mind about for probably years. Because when the King of Swords has data, the King of Swords goes with the facts and the details and has the last word. This is all I'm going to say on this. I believe it to be this way, and nothing you're going to say is going to change my mind. Unless you have new data that you can bring to me, new receipts, then maybe I'll consider that information and maybe it might change my mind. I think you might be doing that in the month of August because there is a time to heal, and it feels like there is something here that you were refusing to budge on, a thought process. You were holding back or shut off or shut down to ever changing your mind about how you saw something or saw a person or a situation you were thinking about. I feel like your intuition is possibly going to show up and to tell you that the thing that you heard back there was actually not really the truth. It was simply just parroted. One person said it to another, and it's not exactly what was going on. Oh, look at this. I love this energy. It's an awakening, friend. Wake up. The horns are blowing. It is something from the past that you're resurrecting, my friend. It does feel like there is something here that you are resurrecting to look at it again, find out the details, the facts, and all of that to see if you're ready to change your mind about it. Let's talk about the King of Swords here. Because the King of Swords does have wisdom, is an authority, and is highly, highly intelligent. But I do feel like something's coming up from the bottom to the top because right now Pluto is right on top, like right in there with Aquarius, right? We have so many things going on right now, but Pluto brings things to light. And I feel like what's coming to light is the change of a process or a mindset. Tell me more. We've got the Devil energy. We've got the Tower in the reverse. You're about to get some sort of an awakening, friend. We've got the Magician. Wow. It's almost like it's an identity. Because the Magician is creating their own reality. And it feels like your whole identity is about to be challenged. This is very interesting. So possibly, maybe you grew up thinking that you were Italian. And you're actually not. Maybe you're Welsh. Maybe you're Mexican. Like it feels like something that is a whole identity. The Magician is here. Magician has control of all of the aces, right? It has all the tools, all the resources to create the reality they choose. I feel like you chose a reality or an identity based on the information that you had at the time. But I feel as though you weren't willing to change your mind about the situation. It may have played into something you wished would happen or something that you hoped would be. It feels like this devil energy, though, tells me that maybe it's lore or something you thought about yourself, a part of you didn't really like, and I don't think that that was at all who you are in your DNA. I feel like you are now about to recreate who you are or to discover that you can create your own reality. You can be whoever you want to be. Because Aquarius, if nothing else, is authentic, always outside the box. This is brand new ideas. And with Pluto here, everything's coming to the surface so we can look at it, see if it is the truth, And we can decide whether we're going to keep that, what is the word I want to use? We're going to keep that thought pattern, or we're going to keep feeling that way about this thing. The tower, you'll notice, is in the reverse. Pardon me. Something is about to change. You're about to have some sort of an epiphany or a change of mind. When the tower is here and it's in the reverse, to me, it's like, no, I'm just going to leave it where it is right now. I do not want any more information. I'm not ready to change my mind at this point. I feel like it's something that somebody says to you and you're like, no, that's not the truth. We have a fundamental difference here. I know what's going on and you think you know what's going on. It feels like somebody's trying to change your mind about something. And it feels like it's something that you think about all the time. Maybe since it was mentioned to you. In the month of August, your thought patterns are going to be challenged. And I feel like you are going to be challenged to find your own identity without taking on the identity of your ancestors. Without taking on the identity of somebody in your family who told you your dad was in the military, your mom was in the military, your sister was in the military, now you must go into the military. Maybe it has nothing to do with the military. I'm just using that as an example. But it almost feels like truth is transcending some sort of an illusion. Like maybe none of them were in the military and they just said so. Tell me about the Four of Pentacles and the time to heal. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. Oh gosh, I love this. Gemini. I feel like you're about to bump into something that I feel that you're not ready to see, but I feel that you know it's practical, it's truthful, and I feel like you can verify it with data because the Knight of Pentacles is here. And the Knight of Pentacles doesn't really care if they get to the outcome. They just want to make sure they're doing it perfectly. So they are going to research the analytics. They are going to try and find out exactly what the details are. I don't want to make this journey any longer than it has to be, but I am going to make sure that I do it perfectly. The sun is here, and I feel like the sun is shining on your journey. It feels like your life's journey. It also feels like with this card here, the time to heal, it does feel like you're about to close a door on something that because you realize that the truth that you have now does transcend the illusion. Somebody told you something, or there's something that someone ingrained with you. It really does feel like a personal identifier. Somebody told you something. Look, maybe an adult said to you, look, you're never going to amount to much. And maybe you believed it. It feels like you're really realizing that it had nothing to do with you. That you don't really have to repeat whatever your ancestors did. It feels like you're now a person that comes from a long line of military people, and you are changing your mind, and maybe you're going to be a musician. And they're like, no, you're not. And you're like, yeah, actually I am. It feels like it's going to flip your whole identity. The World card is here. This is bringing a very long-standing chapter to an end, and it's because you come to some sort of realization, and it's because you've been traveling so slow upon the journey, not worrying about the outcome, that you actually realize something. It's like going down the path, and somebody said when you get to the fork in the road you got to turn left, and you look right and you're like, well, why wouldn't I go right instead of left? Because, well, your whole family went left. So I feel like you are taking the other path. There's something you're finding along the way that is going to give you healing, quick healing. It's a quick realization here with the sun that you can now close an old chapter. And I think it's an old way of thinking, honestly. It's an old pattern of thinking. It's because you've got more data, more resources, more information, and you're really paying attention to the details that you're able to change your mind. But you're doing it on your own, not because somebody told you to do it. This reminds me of tradition. So many people go to church and they don't know why they're going because it's tradition. So many people believe a certain way and they don't know why they do, but it's tradition. I feel like you're breaking away from tradition because you are someone who is a free thinker. I'm going to say freedom is yours. And the Judgment card is here. It feels like you have to bring something up again to review it, to really see now that you have a different outlook. You're now going to use that information that you have, all the analytics, to look at that thing and say, oh, well, maybe that's not the way it was. Maybe somebody told me a lie in order to control me. Maybe somebody told me a lie because that's a lie that's been going on forever. The Judgment brings the Ace of Wands. Very interesting. It is a moment of, wait a second. So who am I then? It feels like a moment, a very exciting moment. It feels like it lifts some sort of heavy feeling from you. It's an exciting moment because you realize that you're finally free. Somebody let you out of the box that you were thinking in. We've got the King of Wands, and now you're free to go. Look, this horse, you can see that this horse is probably ready to kick up its heels. You know, the wild horses, right? It does feel like you're a wild horse, but it also feels like you wanted to be someone who followed tradition, who honored your ancestors, whatever the situation is. But we've got the King of Wands. It feels like now freedom is yours to go pursue whatever it is you want to pursue, because now you're realizing, after digging it up again, looking at it in the face this time, and I think this has come up before, but you chose not to look at the additional information. I feel like this frees you, actually. Your intuition is going to double down for you. I'm looking at the 2 wands, double down, right? It feels like it takes you, it encourages you to begin to plan differently than those that came before you. I feel like you won't be parroting anymore. You won't be telling this lie to your children. You won't be trying to convince your children that they got to keep the traditions of their ancestors. It feels like you're actually breaking away. It does feel like an ancestral change. It's like you're breaking a chain, and it stops here with you. You put up a wall, so this cannot affect your children or whoever your posterity is. It feels like you're making a change. You're making a plan to just remain silent, to not repeat what you said, because you now know the truth. You now know the truth that is transcending the illusion. I love that for you. We've got 3 spaces here. I'm going to go into the extended. We're going to put down 3 cards here, find out what is going on in the extended, what we're going to talk about. What else do we need to know about this for Gemini? We've got Temperance. We've got the 10 of Wands. Gosh, I love this, Gemini. You are about to be able to release some sort of lifelong burden that you've been carrying. And this is such beautiful energy. As soon as I drop all of the burdens I've been carrying for everyone in my family, it's time for me to get out of the chaos and go to the calm. The healing is here, and it's convincing you that this is the moment of alchemy. Whether you have this decision at the end of the road, you have the decision whether you want to drop it or whether you want to perpetuate it. It's totally up to you, and I think that we're going to find out more about that in the extended. You have gone from being the king, the one with the wisdom, back to being the student. Now you're digging for things. Now you're like, I got to follow back my ancestry. I got to talk to my grandma, and why did her mother say that? It feels like it could be family related. It could be anything, really. You're going to get your justice in whatever you find. It's going to help you change your mind, because look, we got 2 swords here. And I feel like your blindfold was on. You didn't want to see it. You didn't want it to change. This was part of your DNA or in your ancestry or whatever. And I feel like this is completely changing your mind. It's like you're letting go of some sort of block and taking off your blindfold and making decisions for yourself, because you know that you're the one that creates your future. And you've decided that you're the one who is the creator. And so I can create things to be different. I can teach people to think with their intuition rather than the words of others that have been parroted, that might not have any truth to them. I'm going to go into the extended. If you want to be in the extended, I'm just going to really enjoy clarifying all of this here. We're going to talk about this and the outcome. And if you want to come to the extended, please look at the pinned comment. It is under the video. Under every video that I upload, there is a membership link there. Please click there if you'd like to come and watch me clarify all of this and find an outcome for you. If you're interested in a private read, if any of this is anything that you want to know personally about yourself and your own energy, please click on the link to Hypsee. All of my prices and packaging are there. I do live reads. I do pre-recorded reads. The live reads are on sale right now, but you do have to pre-book if you want to do that. Reads are open whether they are live or pre-recorded. I'm going to go into the extended. If you want to be there, that's where we'll be. And if you want to be there, you know how to get there now. Happy Aquarius full moon. Woo! This is a great reading under this full moon. I'm going to go for now. Thanks, Gemini. Take care. Bye-bye.